Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
You do any kind of offerings in your current learning system. Let's take a kind of a business case and we'll try to schedule a kind of offerings for multiple locations. We'll see. There is a task called the schedule. Offering task is there. Schedule last thing. If you go to your learning admin application from your apps, learning admin application schedule offering. This will be only for learning administrators. And then look for any kind of blended course that we created. Then we created something called first is something we can do later. Pick up the idea of the course, and these are all. This is when you're seeing that you are able to offer. It should be something blended course. I'm selecting this one. Now we mono questions. Are there any questions moving forward? Still lost the data from the data samples. Can you recall how fast you couple with aft? Metropolitan Cloud was made recently. Which are ready to edit the course. We are adding the existing course here. We are trying to pick the blended course. Select offering. And then we're going to edit the course. We can search for the task called Scheduled Course Offering. The search page is a nice little course offering. The new course offering. We will take the instructor here. Do you remember any of the blended courses that we created? Or you created some blended courses? I don't remember the one. Blended course I created, but I'm not sure I completed or not. Core of conduct. I think I created something. You created two courses. Transport and legal and ethics. Transport, wasn't it? We've been able to take blended course. We should be able to add the instructor. The training room. The training room. The location, since it's a country, is different and location is different. Location. This is where you'll be attending this in-person training. It means training rooms. We'll add one more classroom. I can take in person this thing. Take the same instructor. This is the same location. Before we go with this, we need to create all the locations and rooms. Before we come to here, to state brand new location and brand room number, we need to be creating. And then we'll call that here. How to create a location and from there call room. I'll show you that when you're working. You should be able to handle it. But for now, let me complete the offering. After that, I'll show you how to create a location also. Start the training for this one. And it can be. That is previous date. Oh, we can also give back date also. That shouldn't be a kind of issue. I'm going from first year for this week and last year this week. We are creating a course offering. But if not, we can go with current day also. There shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I'm asking you, if we select the back date, we can create even a course offering or schedule a course offering from back date. That shouldn't be a problem. I left track returns and track rate as it is. Default to keep that as checked. And then go for a grading scheme. We'll be selecting pass as quick, which we wanted to have. Then submit. We have something in it that's gone for an approval. The approval is involved based on the business process configuration. Your question. Thanks, Jeffit. Now this has got approved. Now we have created one course offering. New course offer. Whenever we create something, we need to get that noted. It will not be skipping that course offering. What is the offering that we just created? Let me go back and see if I can find something. I can watch and see what she has approved. From there, I can find the option. Employee, transport and offerings. Today's toast. I think first year protocol. This one only. Basically, if you wanted to search, you need to go with the edit course offering. And you will be seeing the course name. You will be seeing with the date. Date when you have created the offering you should be seeing. That probably you need to remember. If you wanted to update anything, if you wanted to give any offering number, it can give. Ensure that all the instructions that you have given are already there. We have got the offering created. Let's schedule this one. And now there is one more thing called creating virtual course offerings. Creating virtual course offerings. This is to paste. You can schedule offering again. Schedule offering. Can we have multiple courses in 4 software or just one? Multiple courses no. Only. Only. Anyways, you know you are attaching a blended course only. Blended can have multiple rates. You can attach all the courses that you want to have to blended. And blended can be attached to the course offering. That makes your job easy. No. Controller per I going to schedule this one. We have started it. It's somewhere around the state we have given. We have given the start date and end date. Anywhere else we have? Here we have. Once you submit, you'll be getting an authentic schedule on this one. All the things that you are seeing now, when employee is getting submitted, it is going for some of the person that's approval and some of the person is taking an action. And it is getting approved or managing these things in a work, retain and tactical. You can see all these are now scheduled. You can see your event manage code software, employee transport on 3.25. The schedule is in progress. Once you click on any coming to edit mode. But since you already did all the readings, you don't need to come to edit mode. You can complete this process. If you wanted to review, you can. If you don't want to, you can cancel. That's based on the course offerings. And there will be few other kind of tasks which you typically perform in learning. Now there is a task called manage. Manage learning content. What is this? Managing learning content is nothing but where you will be responsible for initial of the course offering that you get. And then you give a kind of readings or any kind of comments to the courses that you added to the offerings. You will be given a kind of rating or the course that you create. Once you are done with the course, there will be a feedback call. Feedback comment for an employee. How do you rate the course? Have you experienced any kind of roadblocks? Kind of things. You check. From this content, you can also do some kind of expiry dates. Also, you can set. Let's say if I want to select this course. Let's say this course is taken. I've taken this course. Then see Edit button. As an admin, we are enabling that rating or we are. As an admin, you're editing this and making changes or adding some kind of comments and give you the preview option, giving option for employees to rate that action. As an admin, you're editing this course. Instead of searching from the search bar, you're editing this course. And if you wanted to make changes to the description or anything, you can do that. Updating. What's in updating anything? The description field that you wanted to have meaning that you can completely edit this one. Whatever that you have created, you can complete this one. I've made some changes and clicked on this. It looks like every user that we have everything has everything. And that's the reason it's going for an approval. If you wanted to get this approved, you need to proxy as this guy and take care of approving this. You can also make any kind of expiry changes through this task. This employee would be getting the task in the inbox. This employee approves. The rates will be completed. It is successfully completed. Good. That's only typically managed. It is having learning administrator, not only just for going to search bar, but also within the course. Also, you have an option to edit the course. Now, what do you do is will. How do you know about in learning system? You can also send a kind of service. Not specific to it, but in general. You said, I think long back that you will know about learning and reporting. And that's maybe you'll be making some kind of surveys to employees. Let's create one survey and see how it works. Then the survey details in the adding order of the users that you want to send to the subject. You can also add question types if you wanted to ask any kind of question. There are multiple types of questions. You have multiple select checkbox where you can give multiple responses. You should be adding your. In the other learning system, you will be creating questions. With the system that you're working, yes, we run surveys for classroom sessions. We evaluate the effectiveness. We launch any product. We want to run a survey and see what is how people are using the product or knowing about the product. File we're using for training purposes. One new high cost content. But if I yes, goes. Now you see here when you're sending survey, we have often here send to specific organization or send to specific individuals. Send via link if the option that I've chosen. And this is a survey link. Select this URL. I should be getting the questions that I've gone through. Something got copied here. Now you get to the takes away it is whatever question that you have given. You should be seeing like this. She got what they've given there. The question that I mean, what is the goal for creating services? And the answer that we submitted before you hire and on. This created is, of course, was the kind of question. That's very typically and in the past. Now we are aware of creating co-questionnaires and surveys. We'll add questions in the survey and will be generating the survey as a link and we verify. But then of course this is a small thing. But in general scenario you have too many questions and is to answer on. You'll be getting a lot of questions. But the process is safe. Whatever you see, the process is same. You can assign creating a course under blended code state and then add that course with the course date and test with the. We can add this survey also. You can add. When you're creating courses also, you remember we can send in the digital course. We have an option to add external content to your. We have the survey link can be attached to there that we can create a course with survey. That employee, once the course is completed, they can get the feedback with the same link. Where can we access the answers given by the user of it? The link. The difference. We have the survey link. That's once they've been submitted. Now if I go to that, you can see the learning survey responses. In my engagement survey is what I think we're given. We still should be there. I believe that was selected. You can see Jacqueline responded because we just submitted the. Take this and Jacqueline has responded. What question she answered, what everything will be. We should be able to see here. That's one question is, and the question answer submitted Review and completed. You can see submitted review for new cloud connector. We click on this, we should be getting submitted review for new cloud connector. This is not what we submitted. Submitted review for new cloud connector. What we submitted? Submitted, just check the checkbox. Learning survey. Learning survey responses. We should be getting we will be getting the contact information and the other one. Here only answer. You see now. The question submitted review, but new cloud connector. The goal question required. It was only one question that we answered. But it is a checkbox. We have not given any score. Outcome is chorus come. Oh, you add. Oh, I added school, but I added number called 20. Oh, 20 is it? Then I think we were able to see that. I was thinking that I just added a checkbox and submitted. No, you added this course as well. That's where you can. There is learning survey responses task where you can find what employee has got responded. Survey is one of the critical areas where you will be triggering surveys. Some download this report, for example. Now we have one respond. But if we have multiple responses from different people, we can create a report for you if you wanted to have in a report for you for future references. You can create it. You have an option to download in a PDF format here. If you see, you can download this, but generally we not recommend to download anything from the system. We can always create a report for you, which you can take as a reference and manage your responses. Now the survey, you're clear. Once you generate a survey link, you can take that survey link in any way. You can directly access that link or you can post that link when you're creating courses. Surveys will be one of the area where it is important for you to clear. The next part of what we can see is, we'll try to learn how to create instructors. We'll have blended courses. For each we need to have instructors. Currently, we only have one instructor in the system, but we can create instructors who wanted to have. It is a task to create instructors. To create internal learning instructors, we can select, let's say, if I wanted to have John as a kind of instructor, I can select someone here as a kind of instructor. We can select the internal employees only as an instructor. You cannot have external employees in the system. In the internal employee presence, you are the organization employees. You cannot select anyone who is not there. You can only select the one who is there in Workday. Once you submit, based on the business process, it goes to approval. My image learning circle is one of the flow that goes to approval. I think it's to log on and proxy log on. Start from screen. You can see, since it has gone for Logan's approval, you should be seeing a task in her inbox. Asking to approve they created this one. Instructor and Logan is approving that. They can be as a kind of instructor. John can be instructor. What is reassign? If the person is not available, you can reassign the task. No! Reassigned comes when the flow is not understanding who to assign. Since this is a training tenant, people who are playing with this business process, they would have same invalid security. Because of the invalid security, when you initiate the transaction is not understanding to whom it has to assign. Since it is not understanding to whom it has to go, it is asking you to reassign to someone who can take an action. We will be assigning to the people who can take actions. Let's see if we have anything. Yes. Yes, Sir John, whomever we have created an instructor. I'll access the task called View Instructor. We should be seeing the person we have created. Earlier we were only seeing one person. Now we should be seeing John also. You should be seeing John. Like this you can, if you wanted to have. If this employee, John, is no longer with the organization, you can the instructor edit and do the inactivate. This will remove John as an instructor wants to submit this. I think you should have an access to in learning. The module for learning should have access to create everything. Manager, anything with the scheduled courses or any kind of external blended courses. You should have something in a managed with that configuration, like creating instructors and approach instructors. It would be in this for a few minutes for the security area. You'll be seeing little back and forth. But ideally you should be seeing the task exactly as how it will be near actual tenant. Once you're able to create an instructor, and you should have an access to manage some calendar events. Some calendar events you can create and assign an employee to that particular course. You can do that. And the other thing, you're probably into one more use case now. As a user or as a kind of business user, you will sign up for applying for the course to help to improve the communications. We can download that events and remind the mind user to complete the course. There's a task called enrolling a course. There's a task, enroll in a course. Let's go into learning. A few things are not able to navigate to learning. Can you repeat what is enrolling course? I'm taking your notes. Enroll in the course is another word, making the employee enroll in the course. As a learning admin, you will be having access to enroll individual employee into the course, not as a kind of group of employees. A single employee should have an access to perform anything. As a learning admin, you will be having an option to pick any employer and assign to a course. That's what we have done. Enroll in the course. What you're doing is going into the learning application. Learning and then all the discovered content, you can go. We created one course offering down. You can see enroll my team. You can see as a required learning. They should be the same must and should learning. The team members that Jacqueline has, Jay, Prakash, and this is one of the employee dummy, are the team members. There is no option to select the user. There is an extra day before the shadow results. We have seen something. Some checkboxes are not coming. Let's see. I think that's going different way. I think the checkbox is something that we have some limited. What is that checkbox? Which we can fix. And with that, I think we can enroll. But the task enroll in the course. Or if you go to Manager Dashboard, you can see Enrolled My Team into the course option. You'll be seeing that they can enroll all the team members of the manager into the course. Any of the course. Any of the course. Today, what we have covered creating surveys, course offering learning content, generating a survey URL and responding as a user. Responding as a user and validate whether employee has responded or not. That we have a survey, we have seen, and we've created a course offerings. And what else we have done? Creating the instructor. We have created an instructor and validated the instructor's existence in the tenant. These are all learning content. Managing learning content is one thing that we have done. I'm going to Learning Apps. Learning Apps. Discovered browsing. You can select any of the course and I'll try to enroll and again drop that. Let's say I'm trying to enroll into. This is already enrolled course. Let's say we don't see enrollment option. How can we find out it is enrolled already? You will be getting option. Let's say the course that I was trying to access is. After enrolling, only you'll be able to see this option, Start Course. Start Course. Before enrollment, you'll not see this one. When you're saying Start Course, there can be two cases. One is there is no enrollment needed for this course directly. You can start course, or once your enrollment is completed, then you should be able to see this course. Now I've enrolled this course and Jacqueline should be able to again and not into this. Now she is saying enrollment option. I'm enrolling her into the fundamental course. Not being making the participants to enroll or the employee. Both ways can themselves enroll them and manager will have an access and even learning administrator will have access. Mostly learning administrator will be enrolling because employee on their own courses they can do, but compliance courses, mandatory courses, learning administrator will have access to enroll employees. And manager will also have to manage all the team learnings. Manager also can do, in all the cases, learning administrator will be managing this. Sorry, I did a mistake. Could you please go back one step and show you? I enrolled into this. Do you want me to drop on again? We do this. We have to select which course. Whichever course that you wanted to drop, you can select. I will show you. Drop reasons also will be based on your request. Learning team will be requesting working team. These are all the operations. We wanted to have an employee and their price to drop the enrollment. Now you can see I'll be enrolling this employee to the fundamental course. Just enrollment. Once enrollment is completed, submit it. It automatically pick that course name. From the course name only we are going. We have an option to enroll. Now, once you submitted, enrollment is submitted, an employee can start the course. Start the course. How to enroll multiple end users. What is that? How to enroll multiple end users? I'll show that there is a task to enroll multiple employees. I think we did try. In our previous sessions, mass enrollment was off. Mass enrollment. The checkbox was not there because of some reason. We did not select multiple employees. We did try, but we'll see if anything got changed, or else I'll see if something that I can figure out, the security issue. I'll see if I can fix something. I can also create one report for you and show. Basically, that's just a report. I can show you that report also. Now I will enroll into this course. And dropping anything you already have seen. The employee will have an access. Everyone will have an access to this task. Drop in learning enrollment. Everyone will have an access. And once employee can get into this, employee can select a course, Workday Fundamentals. But it's just a showing post name, post reason something. It's not relevant. What is that? The list. What are you showing? The reasons. Drop reasons. It's just showing the drop enrollment. You can see here. Enrolled in error. Enrolled in error is one thing that we can select. And since this is a training to write, there are different reasons to select it. I'll show you how to configure that also. I'll select enrolled in error. I'll select. By mistake, we enrolled this session. Submit this. And enrollment has got dropped. Now, if I can do this again, you'll see enrollment option. You can see that in that way you can drop and enrolled an employee. And the reasons is this is a configuration. Maintain drop course, event categories. Here we'll be configuring all the reasons of drop. What all you have seen here, you'll be seeing all those things here. Generally, you'll not see this many since this is a training trend you'll be seeing. In general, you'll be seeing drop enrollment and we'll add one more reason. Like enrolled in other course, and the other reason would be I'll let you complete it. This course. Or workload something like Seeker. I'll let you complete this course. And the other thing can be no time to complete this. Complete this. And the other thing is not relevant. Relevant is something these reasons you guys will be giving. Learning team will be giving to Workday team. You'll share all this information and will be configuring. Workday team will be configuring this. Once you configure the top reasons, if I try to do that, drop again, drop enrollment. I can go this drop learning enrollment and any course if I select. Let's see the technical. If I select this one and whatever the drop reason we have created, you should be able to see those things. You can see no time to complete and not relevant. We already completed this course. This way your learning team will be giving the Workday team with all the reasons to drop for an employee and the way that I've configured. They will configure those reasons. Workday team will configure or mostly Workday team will configure. Learning team will do all the operation activities for learning. They'll not do Workday configurations. In that scenario, when I implemented learning module for a couple of customers, since there was no learning team, I was taking care of all the learning operations, activities and also learning configuration. The ones the learning team has formed. Here I came out of all operations activities. I used to support them in configurations and technical. But in general, since your background is something, administering a learning system, I think from the scenario better to know how to configure and share the requirements. If tomorrow, when learning implementation is going on with any of the Workday customers, you can suggest. We have an option to drop enrollment for an employee, and we can configure reasons for the drop and employee can select those reasons and drop from the enrollment. You can select. You can share this kind of information during the implementation and accordingly. Implementation partners are learning development team. Workday development team will be configuring as how we want it to have. Good to know this information because that's an important, not all the time work on the endowments, but at some scenarios you'll be supporting even dropping the endowments. We can drop the enrollment for blended courses and also the digital courses. Much enrollment is anything. It can be blended. It can be program. It can be digital. There is something called a maintain learning validations. If you wanted to do some kind of validations, drop content to validation. Whatever warning message that we got, when we are dropping that one is coming from here. What one that we were getting? Show this. If you'd have noticed when I was dropping, it was not immediately getting dropped. There was a warning message. Once I clicked on that warning message, I used to get that. If you got a new validation, I'll specify the filter. We have to select. This is already existing validation. This is already existing. And for every enrollment dropping, when you're going for drop content, validation content, when you're dropping this warning message. When this warning message will come, when you have a condition. When I think this is not properly configured, you're not seeing. Maintain validations. Maintain validations. One new message. This is a condition rule. What it will happen is the course you're dropping begins less than 2 days. When employees enrolled and that enrollment is that course is going to start next 2 days. For the course that is going to start in 2 days, a warning message has been set, saying that your course is going to start in 2 days. You still wanted to drop the enrollment is kind of validation message. We have configured. And that's what validation reason. And also it is a kind of warning message. Drop from the enrollment for any course that is less than 2 days. We should be seeing this warning message. The course you're dropping begins in less than 2 days. This is a kind of configuration, kind of validation configuration that will meet. And the other thing would be critical, where it should not allow for dropping the enrollment. You can see here, the something called critical will be there. Whatever that you add here in a critical that will stop employee to drop from the endowment, that will not allow dropping. Even if they get a warning, they will be able to go further. They should be able to. But if we have any critical validation, then it will stop the users and users for the action. The same kind of validation. Whatever we have compared, the course begins in the same. If you kept here the critical that will stop employee from dropping for any code that is less than 2 days. Here at least, warning message is coming. Employee can still submit the drop. But here an employee cannot do that because it's a critical error. It's not a warning. It's a critical employee will not be able to proceed further. That is one thing probably you need to be aware. We have something called validation section, learning validations, where you can do something related to drop on also the same kind of validation you can do for enrollment also. When you're trying to enroll, you have certain reasons. The learning, the location of the course you have selected is different than your primary work location. If there is any blended course, there is a brand new book that is from different location and employee from employee's based location. If employee is selecting that, a warning message should come. In that we have selected an instructor-led course on different location and your base location. Employee can do this. If the same we can set here in a critical, that will be blocking. Employee will not be able to proceed. You can see, can enroll only. You can only enroll in this course once. You cannot re-enroll. If employee is trying to enroll into the multiple times, This will be a kind of warning message, sharing that you have already enrolled and you're again trying to enroll kind of option will be seen. The same, if you do in critical, that will stop enrolling employee. Got There's a concept called learning validations. In that learning validations, one is you can do validations on enrollment and dropping the enrollment. Enrollment in the sense you can do validations while enrolling with the course, and you can do validation while dropping the course. You can do both. There is going to be one of the critical area. Good for you. If you join any kind of organization where learning system is getting implemented from this scratch, there you have an option to propose these recommendations to implementation. Team is doing. I took some training, and in the training I got one of the learning validations we can do for enrollment and dropping in the enrollment. You can tell them and give them a kind of exposure how it works. Your organization won't have warning messages we can configure and critical messages, blocking the enrollment, blocking the dropping enrollment options. You can propose. That's about learning, dropping and enrolling options. We've tested this, and we also seeing that how warning message get generated. Warning message get generated from this task. Maintain learning validations. The next thing is today also thought covered how we can track the enrollments and track the types of courses that we have. All those things. See how learning can access the existing reports towards learning. Going back and go to the learning app. Learning app. We all app. Learning app. Discover. Rose Learning. What was the thing that we discussed? Sorry, not. I thought of showing you the reporting perspective. How to track courses. Going to learning admin, not learners. Learning admin. There's something specifically for learning administrators where they can view all the courses that are available in the system and how many people have completed course, all this thing from which people have completed all this kind of analytics, learning and see. Scroll up on it. Can you go once we get one step behind, one step down? How to access this page? How to come here? The same. We have two. Learning. Learning admin. If you're going from apps, there will be two apps. One is for learners. Learning will be there. The other one is for learning administrator who can. See here. Learning will be for employees who wanted to take the training or courses they can go. Basically the learners. Learners are nothing, but employees will be having access to this learning. One more thing called learning admin. Learning that. Learning admin. Where only learning admin will be able to say this thing. No other person other than learning admin will be able to say this thing, access this. Of course, in the background, will be working team will be configuring security. Listening other people, though they have a kind of all the work access. But learning admin is specific to learning admissions. Only those people will be access this worklet action. This is typically we call it as a worklet. And people can from learning team can access this. Clicking on this. And this will take to the dashboard. There's nothing but a kind of learning administrator dashboard. You can find all that is the learning administrator will be doing. One is viewing the courses. What are all the courses that are there in the tenant? A topic you can select. You can find out all the topics here. You are setting the topic when you look at all the list of the courses under that particular topic. Not edit course. Something we post. You can show this. Only you can access a task. Basically, viewing the dashboard is nothing but where you can view all the courses. Similarly, lessons and programs. And we also have campaigns that we already configured. We have scheduled. One can create a campaign and schedule a campaign. Such kind of campaigns also you can see. All the existing campaigns you can also find from the Learning Administrator dashboard. You're able to hear me. I was talking on your comment. We can view all the courses, all the lessons programs, and any kind of topics which are already created. You can find the search bar. Going to search for view cam, view course or view campaign kind of pass you access because you already have everything on your fingers. It can easily. You mean we can find it in the dashboard. In the dashboard, if you come, you can find and what are the activities that you typically perform like scheduling, offering. This is the scheduling offering in our last. Such kind of things and I can do schedule offerings from here where you can find any of the course as a kind of offering that you can access that and do the kind of schedule option. And manage learning content, which gives you all the learning content that are available. If I select this one, you can do some kind of options here. Manage learning content in the sense, if you want to do some kind of ratings, if you want to do some kind of any kind of edits while you're making this course. You can do some kind of edit learning content in the sense where you have an option to edit the content and add some options that are required. As a learning admin, we are giving the rates or the learner going to. Learner will be giving. Once a learner has come to it, and we are enabling them, we give option for them to rate the course. Learner will be that option. I'll show you. There is something called rate category. I'll show you. In that way, you can view and find all the options of managing the learning courses and learning lessons. Not only these two, but you can do kind of learning content and you can do multiple learning related activities based on the learning admin related access that you have. This is not going back. One is where you can view something related to learning courses, lessons, programs, and campaigns. You can view that are created in the other means. Whatever the activities that you guys will be performing, learning team will be performing like scheduling learning content and managing a kind of wait listing. Multiple employees have enrolled into multiple courses and based on the crowd or based on the number of candidates to attend the particular course. Manage the wait listing of the candidate that the others can enroll or give option for multiple employees to enroll into the course. Like managing the wait listing of employee enrollments, such kind of things you will be doing. We'll be seeing all those options also. How we can convey the wait listing on, we'll be seeing all those things. Just whatever data activities that learning team can perform, they can straightly go for learning dashboard and manage courses and manage learning content activities. The other thing is campaign. Whatever campaigns related, existing campaigns can be viewed here. And learning administrator also will have an option to create few things, create course lesson programs, whatever I've shown you. Learning administrator will have access to perform those activities. And then those are all the activities and that stuff, all other things that you're seeing here are the kind of analytics. Analytics that learning administrator know how many have completed this course and how many have not completed this course and what kind of learning content by rating we can give. All these kind of things you can get from learning dashboard, which will give you complete exposure on the completions and any kind of. Do we have access to download the analytics in Excel for my comment? You have. We have. You have. You'll be getting an access to run a report. And once a report is completed, you should be able to extract that information. And the accident started, that will, by default, be in an Excel format. Let's say if I have something called RD. There is something called my team, my learning courses. That is a report name. This is a report named My Learning Courses, which gets all the employees. This is for Learning Administrator. What is the course that employee has enrolled and data for enrollment? And when the endowment is going to start, when the registration status will begin, and when the completion status will be populated. All this kind of basically will be giving an employees can run this. Not by learning administrators. Learning administrators can run this and identify what all the courses are there. And when the enrollment has got completed, and what should be the start date and registration date and completion status. You'll be seeing all the information that you will be requiring. You will be requiring for the courses that are available in the tenant. That is for learning. If you wanted to extract that index cell, once you run a report, you will be seeing an option here, Excel button. Export Excel, that will be downloaded to Excel action. Clicking on this, you'll be getting all the courses, all the information, spreadsheet format. Like that, you'll have a lot many learning related reports which will be running on your day-to-day learning activities. The other one is probably I can create and show you. Let's say if you wanted to track the completions of enrollments. How many employees have enrolled into a course on? How many have completed? How many have not started? How many are in progress? Kind of options that you're looking, and you've given me. You've given me an option compliance courses. These are the courses that I wanted to have a kind of track every day to see how many employees have completed, how many are pending. This information that you will be asking Workday team or reporting team to create, and Workday team will create a report and hand over that report here, and you will be using according to business needs. I'll create a report and show you how we can get this. Since whatever I'll be creating is a very simple one, that would be clear for you. All. I wanted to have all the enrollments, all the status of the enrollments. For a particular course. For a particular course. The report type will be advanced, and there is an option called data source, called learning enrollment. What is a data source? Why are you selecting these? This is nothing but a kind of reporting topic. It's already configured by the Workday team. Report generally, it will be already configured. But for you to show in the session from the scratch I'm doing. Generally the data source, data source. All these things comes up by Workday. You don't need to create anything. Data source report type. Everything comes with Workday. You don't need to choose anything. Whatever data sources that are related to learning, you can select that particular data source and get the enrollments activities tracked in a report format. Now I've selected data source called learning enrollments. Learning content. This is nothing but course, title, and learn. You can add multiple courses. We'll be filtering. This will, if we are not filtering, I'll show you once we complete adding the fields. I'll show you how. And based on that, you can arrest it to only one course. These fields are a course name only. Now, I mean, course is different. Content is different. Now, what is this field? These are nothing but fields we wanted to know. Learning enrollment data, fields reporting fields. Report fields, I can say. Status, I want to know enrollment status. Completion status, completion date. I've given few fields that are generally required for learning content or learning enrollment, tracking the status of the enrollments. I'm not filtered for any specific course, meaning that I should be getting all the courses. You can see there are around 1147 courses are there. All these courses, you can see completion status not started. One thing is in progress, in progress, in progress, and they can see not many are coming up with the status. Not that. And completion date. It is returning blank because it's in status and not started. If they have not started, it will be if they have completed. You can see the date shows here. It is in progress, seeing, but we see the completion date. How come? Amid. Let's go to this employee profile and see how this converting. Let me add worker name and worker details that we can go to the employee profile and see. As of today, I'm running. I will be getting employee who has completed, and we have figured out with the learning data, which is in progress, but still we are seeing completion date. This employee got terminated. Let's pick active employee. This employee is on leave. This employee profile. Where can I see the completions are on in career? Learning option. Career learning option. In career learning option, you can see, and this is what our report is showing. And what is that information that we are seeing? It's showing me in progress, but completed date also included. Let's see. This funding on customers. Offering the decision status enrolled. And the date enrolled, completion status in progress. We are not seeing completion status. We are seeing completion status in progress. And the date of enrollment would be this one. And what are we getting in the report? Our completion date means it's not course completion, it's a learning enrollment. Enrollment completion. I've enrolled into the course. And if manager is approved, I've got enrolled. That will be treated as completion of the enrollment. That is what you are seeing, not course completion. No, not course completion. It is enrollment completion. The employee enrollment is completed, or it has gone for manager approval, or it is sitting with manager approval. It shows you whether it is sitting for an approval or it completed. All this kind of information it should be getting from learning, enrollment related reports. There are two things. One is if you wanted to know the course completions. That's a different case. And if you wanted to know the completion of the enrollments, that's a different case. You must be having a kind of clear understanding what you are looking for when you are accessing. There are around 10 to 11 reports you generally access. Some of them. One should be giving you completion of learning courses. The other one should be giving you completion of learning enrollments. Both are not same. That would be a kind of courses. Generally in your existing system, what kind of data report that you generally access in learning area? We have different kind of reports. A course report, learning path report, assignment report. Then what else? For each learning path report, we can have multiple learning assets. Like we can add different courses. We can add different assignments. And we have something called resource. Resource is nothing, but you can add any format of file. Document, video, audio, whatever you can add. And we are creating that learning path and creating a learning journey for the employee or end user. We can see that also, and we can drill down the report. In the learning path, we can drill down to each course status and each user status. Something like that. We have different kind of reports and we also have custom reports. We can add multiple courses. We want to do it. And we can schedule the report. Also, that we no need to go and generate the report every day, every time. If we schedule it, it will automatically generate the report and share to the mentioned email ID. The same. All what we said is the same can be done. Workday Learning also. Whatever activities, that is it. Creating the custom reports, scheduling the custom report, managing different levels of standard reports. All those things can see in the day learning also. I can show you all the standard reports that we have. And whatever you said, courses, assignments, completions. I have shown you a couple of reports now. And similarly, whatever you have just said, all those things we can do in Workday also. That's the kind of thing you will be accessing towards the report. You will not get a chance to create reports. But you can give a requirement what you have, something in that Workday is not provided. It's not in the list. It's not in the list. You can ask your Workday team, hey, Workday is not provided this list of reports. But we wanted to have existing. We wanted to have a report in different scenario. It will give you a requirement. Workday will be creating that accordingly. I'll just share the equivalency, the context of both the rules. Basically example, I can give you example. When you assign course, let's take a course A and course B are there. When we assign course A to learner, instead the learner completes course B, which is equivalent to the course A. The learner gets an equivalent record of course A, which closes the assignment. Basically, we have created two courses. Both are, similar kind of courses. And we have assigned among two. We have assigned one to employee to complete that. But instead of that, employee completes the other one, which is equivalent course to A. Here the learner will be getting equivalent record for course, a completion which closes the assignment, because since an employee has completed equivalent course from what you have assigned, the assignment will be considered as completed. We can close the assignment. Creating a record based on the equivalent course is something like which satisfies the kind of prerequisite that we have for course A, which was completed by employee on the course B. Whatever the credit requirements or any kind of completion requirements that learning team has for course A, the same will apply for course B also. When you assign a course A to employee, an employee completes course B, which makes that employee has completed course B. That will be meeting the needs of learning team, learning administrative team. Only the third thing here is the actual one that is assigned to employee will not be completed, but which is equivalent to the assignment of whatever course that was assigned to employee was completed. Here the goal is met. The goal is met. Only the thing is actual assigned course was not completed, but the other course, which was equivalent to that course, was completed by an employee. Here course A will appear in the required for you, your slider, based on the expiration date that employee has. When employee views course, A will be populating and learner can also view both courses. But basically, since employee has completed the course B, even the course B also will be populated. Whenever employee completes one or more courses that are equivalent to a particular content, Workday displays an equivalency status on a kind of image. A thumbnail image will be populated on the content that display the status to indicate that employees don't need to complete the content because they've already earned the equivalency from another content. That's the kind of message in a Workday will be populating. Here the status will be displayed when employees have not interacted with any of the content. If they enroll in, start or complete the content. Generally 2 courses in a 1 or 2 equivalency courses when employee is completed. If employee is able to complete one, irrespective of the actual one, the consideration is goal is met. Because employee has completed whatever the requisites are there for completing the course, the same credits employee will be getting instead of the other. The same kind of a value that employee will be getting. Same kind of learning credits employee will be getting. There is no difference. Only the thing is apart from the actual one employee is completed, the other one which is equivalent. We'll be creating such kind of rules here. That will make employee to go with that equivalency rules. What does the benefit make? Here, capture anything in the recording or report something it will be capturing in the report. We have, it will be captured in the report. It will be captured in the inner completion. Everything will be captured. In my current MS, I don't see any rules. That's why it's very new to me to understand. That's where we call it as a kind of an equivalent rule. It should make the employee to get a kind of credit which is equal into the quotes that was assigned to employee. The next day you assign, let's say, Microsoft Basics and Excel Basics. These are the 2 courses. Now these 2 courses you are assigned and you are asking me that complete. A Microsoft Basic should be completed as a kind of targeted before a week or not. Now for me personally, I know the Microsoft Basics and I'm clear on that. Instead of doing that one, I'll be completing Excel Basics, which is equal into that one. Microsoft and the Basics are equivalent and the Microsoft. I'm aware of that. And then I went for Excel Basics. I've completed that one. The same kind of credit, whatever required for this particular quarter. Something has to be completed this quarter. The same kind of credits, same kind of, the content completions which I'm completing this quarter can be achieved because I've completed something that is, equal into the course that is aligned to me. Whatever credit that I'll be getting by completing the actual one, the same credit I got by completing the one that I did outside of my assignment, I did. I'll be getting the same kind of credits that I'll be needing to complete in this quarter per learning administrative. And my goal for next quarter, I'll be taking care of the other thing that will be left over. That is nothing but a kind of equivalency rules we define, and based on that, employee will be able to handle equivalent courses that can be taken. Does this make sense? Now we'll try to configure this one and see how it works. There is a task code. There is a task called Create Learning Equivalency. On this and select singular equivalency rules, which enables you to add multiple contents into the source and target fields. Now the second one group equivalency rule, which enables you to make multiple contents equivalent to each other quickly, that learners, employees, can gain the equivalency in multiple courses. You'll be setting up the courses now. Instead of singular equivalency rules, the source. Source is nothing but the learning content that learners must complete to achieve, which are nothing but courses. Whether a digital course or blended course, multiple courses if next day Workday unback Farnham, what is it? This is course what you are selecting. I am selecting source. What is the learning efficiency rule? Completing one course that is equivalent to other. That's the reason we are selecting courses. We were seeing a digital blended. Even if you go there also, we will be seeing these courses only. Instead of that, I am finding by search the course post names. These are the two courses that we have, which will create an equivalency rule for this one. And target is probably here we can take. That would be the target. Here, that is a source and this is a target. What we will be assigning to an employee. Here, two-way in the sense which makes a kind of understanding for an employee that employee can take these content, either source or target, to achieve equivalency in either. In order to complete this course, employee can take either of those. There is a reason why we select it as two-way. They are not selecting it two-way. It is one-way. Employee can select only the one that is one course. Here you can have kind of view, no feature, like if employee wanted to go for targeted course but employee has completed this one. Employee will be able to complete that because of the two-way that we have selected here. If you have not selected this one, whatever that employee is supposed to can complete the one. The other one cannot. The other course. That is the reason why we select two ways that employee can take care of the two courses. The option applies. This option is applied for only a singular one, but if you go for this one group equivalence rule, this will not be applied. will not be able to see. Will not be able to see the two-way checkbox here. I will be selecting that again. Do you understand why we go for equivalence rule? Yes. We will give some data first. Display equivalency record in the learning history. And display equivalency options on course. Now we submit this one. You can see this is now completed. Now, as a result, what we can do is work out the learning equivalency rule. Since there is no business process configuration, it has not been for any approval. It is completely completed. There is no any kind of business process approval from manager or any of the senior. We don't have any approval. Automatically, when this was submitted, it get completed. See, as an admin, we created this rule. And we have to assign that or assign to users or learners. We have created this rule. Now, whenever manager equivalency rule is nothing but unique for a tenant level, it is assigned at tenant level. When employee completes either this one or this one, the equivalency rule will apply now. This is for every employer, not for just one employee. That is the reason why I said this is at tenant level. This is not at employee level. This rule is configured at tenant level, where every employee will be able to utilize this option. If employee has to complete either of the, one can do because of the equivalency rule that we have created. This is not for individual employee that you can assign. Camping is nothing but where you can assign for individual employee. But equivalency rule is not for a specific employee. It applies at tenant level, at Workday instance level. Across the system level it applies. Every employee can come in. That's what equivalency rule talks about. Now you can see if you can access the task called Manage Equivalency Rules. You can see the one that we would have created will be added here. You can see here source content and target content is one thing that we have added, which will be active now. Any employee can go and take this source or target, which would be a kind of two-way content. Now if you see another report which is nothing but managed learning content. Here you can see we have equivalency rule that we have created. We can select that. Here is view content. Select view content from the search. This is something when you're not able to find. When you search something on the search bar, you can come into the categories. Come into the categories and check. Since you're looking for learning categories, you can click on more and it should be getting something related to learning. Click on learning. If this comes under this category, whatever you're searching for learning, it will be showing the number of searches here. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to access a class for managed learning equivalency rules. Yes? This one, let's see. We can see here for each of the course, you can see Introduction to the Learning View Equivalencies. Workday HC. You can see Introduction to Workday Learning was something that we accessed. If you go for equivalence thing, we should be finding this is an equivalent option. You can complete this equivalent course instead of the selected course. Also is what it is saying. And similarly, if you go for another one, other one that we have created, Workday HCM, if you go for real equivalences, there is an alternative option. You can see Introduction to Workday Learning. We can complete this equivalent course instead of the others. Because we made the configuration equivalency rules, we have selected two courses. One can take instead of the other. If you go for any kind of Workday certification, if you're attending for any kind of Workday certification now, you have opted for Workday Learning. Workday Learning Independent is a kind of learning certification that you opted for. But you also have an option, equivalency option, that Workday Learning on Demand. On demand, independent in the sense. However you want on your own, you can do on demand in the sense it's an instructor, one who will be available, who will be sharing the PDF documentation for you. This is one of the equivalency course that you also have. Instead of that, you can also take that. That's the kind of an equivalency course that you're setting up. That's what we have done now. Tomorrow, when you're attending any kind of interview, What was the core configuration that you have done? If someone asks you, there is a valid point for you. We have. There is a kind of requirement that we got that business was asking 2 courses to be created and have these 2 courses under equivalency rules because they wanted to have any of these courses can be completed. When we assign this to employee, when any of this course is assigned to employee, they can complete either of them because both are equivalent courses. We've created equivalency rules as per the business requirement. An employee has a kind of choice. They can go for either of the course as per their choice. Is what you need answered. Generally, you shouldn't have seen this in your current system, but Workday offers this. That would help you when correct any kind of multiple courses. That makes the equivalency rules. You can have an option to select one instead of the other. You can note down the configurations. You can note down the configurations like equivalency rule. Just note down that. And probably when you're reviewing the recording, you can get the content. You can add a kind of skills in a resume. What are the skills? The code configuration that you made. They can add all these things, drop configuration, equivalency configuration, all this configuration that you're familiar. No need that. You need to be familiar with the configurations, but you know the content, how it behaves, what is the kind of objective of the configuration. You're aware. That's what it is needed for you. That's the equivalency rule. As we know, we'll be covering something similar, which is pre-equivalent rules. Pre-equivalent. The content here is we will create pre-equivalent rules that can define completion of one or more courses or program. Let's say you're subscribed for Workday Learning course. With Workday. But in order to complete this Workday Learning course, there is a prerequisite for you. There is something called Workday Basics, is something prerequisite that you have to complete. Only when you complete Workday Basics, then only you'll be able to apply for Workday. Learning is a kind of a prerequisite section. Generally, we'll be seeing this certification. People wanted to learn both the integration skills. But Workday would have kept a kind of prerequisite. If you wanted to learn Workday integrations, you need to complete our prerequisite for the reporting. Only when employee completes the prerequisite, employee will be eligible to take the integrations. Here we are setting up the prerequisite for the actual course. When employee completes the prerequisite, then only they'll be able to do the other one. This will be in real time. Also, you'll be seeing from customers. Let's say you're assigning onboarding courses to employees. One is first week of the course. The other one is second week of the course. The other one is third week of the course. When employee tries to go for second week, the employee did not complete the first week one, but employee is trying to attempt the second week one. There should be an error during that. This course has a prerequisite, first week one. If you complete first week one, then only you can come to second week one. Because the first week course is a prerequisite of second week one. That was the configuration. That is a basic context of the configuration. Both, whatever we have seen, equivalency once and prerequisites are same, but only the thing is there, you can do both. Either of the one you can do. Here you can do only one. We are navigating. It's just like a forced navigation unless you complete the first one, you can't go to. You can't go to the second one. But there, what is the kind of rule we are doing? You can complete one. When you complete one, you know that you are doing the other one. Because that is equivalent to the other one, either of the course we can take. There is a difference between equivalency and prerequisite rules. Next answer. Yes. We will be performing configuration on this. We have a task called Create Learning Prerequisite Rule. What is the task? Create Learning Prerequisite Rule. This is the target content. We are giving that target course, which is Working Learning. In order to complete this, one employee should complete the prerequisite code. What are the basics? The same fundamentals is something that will be given. Now we can add multiple target contents. We can add multiple. You can add multiple click on. Now we have created a prerequisite rule now. Now, when I go to this course, I should be seeing a pre-representer. Only when you complete these two, then only you can go for completing this course. Now look at this course. You can also search the course from the take the course name from here. You can search from the search bar also. When you search for this course, you don't populate on the search, but you need to go for categories. You need to go for categories, more categories and learning. Introduction to what you will learn. Introduction to Word Data Learning. When I access this course, I will be seeing this course has a prerequisite. New prerequisites. If I click on this one, we should be seeing option 1, option 2. I think this is already configured, I believe. We have not configured this one. We have configured this one. You can see option 2. Whatever we have configured, we are seeing here. We didn't know. The first one was configured, but the second one, when we configured, it is showing as an option too. You can add multiple options. Either this was one. Previously it was added. Employee can go for this one, or employee can also go for option 2. When an employee completes these two, they can go directly for this course to complete. Induction to Workday Learning. That's something called prerequisite. Even this one. This is at tenant level, not at employee level. An employee goes to subscribe this one, it will be showing a prerequisite. You need to complete this prerequisite. Then only you will be able to go for this one. This is also at tenant level only. Got? These are the two core configurations which will be adding strength to your resume. The other one, yesterday we were discussing on something called transcripts. Transcripts manage waitlist and assessment. Assessment. You told us you will check and come back. Transcripts. We have kind of delivered the things. If you go for learning, whatever employee has completed this, you should be seeing it here, but employee there is. No, there is nothing employee completed, but we can. Since I am a learning admin, what I can do is I can mark something as complete. I can go to related actions. I can manage enrollment completion. I can. Once I click on this, one employee will be able to complete this. Even you will be having access when you are a Workday Learning admin student. If you wanted to complete forceful completion, you can go to the related actions of that course. Manage enrollment completion. Click on this. Confirm and click on. Now this will be completed with employee record. If you go to the employee record, we should be seeing complete action. Where is the 12 that has gone? And what is the course that we did? Let me do one more post to see. Workday BP integrations. Let me see. Let's start it. I should be seeing something in the completions. If you want it, if you go to Learning Admin Dashboard or as a learner also, you have something to generate a transcript. Go to homepage as an employee. Learning. And my learnings. Here you can see View Learning Transcript. Click on the Review Learning Transcript. When you click on the View Learning Transcript, whatever that you have completed, you can generate a transcript for that one. You can see here the transcript has got generated, which shows the complete status of the learnings. Generally, since this is a training tenant, you are seeing more, but if it is actual tenant, you should be seeing whatever that are there in the channel. You can see a kind of transcript has got generated which shows what employee has enrolled, what employee has completed, what employee has not completed. You can see the completed ones. You can see the one that are in progress. You can see the one that are not in progress, which are in not started state. You can see there's nothing but a kind of transcript. This is delivered on what Workday offers. What we have, we can make. Workday has given a kind of flexibility that we can create our own kind of certificate as how we wanted to have kind of logos that we wanted. We can add content that we wanted to add. We can do kind of our own kind of setup. However, we wanted to have with the learning transcript. That's what I was telling yesterday. Customers will giving their own kind of requirements that they wanted to have a transcript with employee details, with manager details, with where the employee belonging to which team, which manager, which department kind of things. We can add in the transcript and have it prepared. This is something you kind of transcript where you can find the transcript if you go to learning application. My learning, and you can see transcript options here. Review learning transcript in your learning history. Access your learning transcript. Review a record of your learning. This is an employee view. Employee can find their own certificate transcript. Learning admin also, you should be having some extra options, but let me go back to the app. If you click on Learning Admin has a lot of other options than just what is there for an employee. They can view anything. They don't have a kind of transcript generation because transcript is nothing but self-service, which employee wanted to generate their own completions. Admin cannot do that because that's something a self-service record. If I wanted to get my learning transcript for the courses that I've completed, I have access to general, not learning. Admin can do that for me because all the completions that I've done will be sitting in my Workday, not learning. Admin. I will have an access to generate transcript for all the courses that I've completed, for all the courses that are in progress, for all the courses that are not started. That's something but kind of transcripts where you can view. And that would be kind of in a core concepts, which we can consider, and probably in our next sessions, we'll focus some of the major things which we are left with. Today we have covered equivalency rules and prerequisites, and I got the content from them. Learning instructors were created and learning dashboards. We've seen validations. We've seen drop course categories. We've seen and topics. We've seen dashboard worklets. We've seen learning. Security is not something you will need because you're going into learning operations. You will not be taking care of any of the security stuff. That is not required for you. And segment security also is not required for you. And configure, set up security for learning also. That's part of the implementation where you will not be involved in the implementation of the system. That is also not required. And security learning also is not required. We have something called a setup pricing. Enablement is something that we can cover. Pricing enablement and the pricing for learning and restrict access for learning content is something also related to security, which you will be not needing. We'll focus on pricing enablement and configure, set up pricing enablement, learning, and any kind of payment configurations. If you're enrolling for a cost-associated courses, what are the payment configurations can be? We'll be covering these three. And also we have lessons we have discussed and managing learning content in other. But creating courses really discuss campaigns we did discuss and learning. Even packaged the content is something we'll be discussing. Learning courses we discussed course offering. We discussed an instructor-led classroom training online, which we did not see, but we can see learning programs and learning content to be edited. Equivalency rules, prerequisite rules we've just discussed today. And enrollments. We did perform some kind of enrollments and mass learning enrollments, also really discuss and drop enrollments. We did see dropping the enrollments when employee is not interested to. We need to cover that. Listing is something we need to do, and enrollment completion we just did not. When employee has enrolled and we went to employee enrollment and did forceful completion, you did see that how we can do a kind of forceful completion. When employee content is in progress or not started, they can do completion by going to the related actions of that one and completed that one. And we have something called expiry. If we give the option to employees without going, they just complete the course. No. No, this is not an employee will not have. This is option for learning admins. Whatever that I've shown you, then the employee will not have all this access, the transcript employees. Transcript one employee will have because it's on their own completions. If they wanted to see a complete record of their completion, they can generate a transcript and see. Extended Enterprise Learning Module. This is typically not here regularly because this is not a learning model, but these are complete different requirements. Before we talk about learning, and then we will compare that learning to this one, that we will be able to understand. Workday Learning. What is going to do with Workday Learning? In this case, all the employees who are in Workday system will be users for Workday Learning model. We typically call them as learners. Learners where they will be taking their courses. They will be taking their courses. Learning administrator will be assigning the assignments and accordingly they will be completing and they'll be getting learning credits. That's the objective of learning model. Here, we need something like when employee is within Workday, they have learners. They have learners here. When that employee has employee in Workday, they are able to access learning module and they are called as learners. But employee is in Workday. Who gets employee? ID. Employee is in Workday. Who gets employee is a Workday learner. We typically call them as the learners, where they will be able to take courses, get credits. This is typically what we see in Workday Learning. But what we see in extended learning is extended enterprise learning. What we generally see is employee is not in Workday. Who gets extended? Sorry, who gets extended? Enterprise Learning ID. Who gets courses? Who gets courses? Who gets credits? Understood. You understood this one, yes. I will be explaining something, but you understood this line. They are not in Workday system, but through extended enterprise learning module, they will be able to take the courses. Here within Workday Learning, when Workday system have employees and those employees will be taking Workday Learning. They will be users of Workday Learning when they have Workday Learning as a module in Workday system. But when we don't have employees in Workday and when we wanted them to take learning from Workday is what they take through extended enterprise learning module. How that will happen is we need to place a request with Workday. Recently, I think 2 or 3 years back, I worked for one of the customers. They had a kind of similar requirement only. Who will configure that, Amit? Workday team will be configuring that. The team will be configuring that and learning administrator will be taking care of extended learners as well as Workday learners. Both they will be taking care of assigning learning assignments. Extended learners you call people who are not part of Workday but still they're taking courses in Workday. They're called as extended learners and people who are part of Workday and they're taking courses, they're called as learners. Now how this will happen is, and I'll give you a kind of a realistic scenario that I've seen in my experience. I think 2 or 3 years back, I was working for one of the government customer who was using Workday as their internal HRA system and got implemented Workday Learning and that Workday was live only for US employees who are all in the US. Workday was live for only US employees, not for international. They had offices in Canada. They had offices in Mexico, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, India. In all these locations, they had offices, but Workday system was not live in all these locations. Only Workday was living US. All the employees who are part of US are able to access Workday Learning and were able to take all the learning courses, the compliance courses, the kind of external courses that they wanted to take. They were using Workday Learning System as a system, and they were able to take courses, and Learning Administrator used assigned courses through campaigns, through other models. Workday Learning Administrator used to assign these courses. When they had a plan that we are investing on Workday Learning and we are again investing on Workday SAP Success Factors as a learning system for international workers. Now let's expire this list, terminate Success Factors as a learning system and have this Workday Learning to all the international workers from India, from Washington, from Canada, from Mexico, for all international. Let's make all the international workers to access Workday Learning System. They have reached out to Workday. They have reached out to Workday asking that we all live with Workday system for US country but not live with other countries. We have a plan in next 2 to 3 years, but now we don't want it to invest again for learning, licensed or success factors. We wanted to use Workday as a learning system for all our extended, for all our international workers. Workday came with a kind of approach saying that you can do that. We have an option for specifically these kinds of requirements. We have a model called Extended Enterprise Learning Model. We have a model. Through this model, your international workers can get into this and they should be able to access your learning system. They'll not be able to access anything, but they'll be able to access only learning related stuff. They're not employees in Workday, they're only extended learners in Workday. They're just, if you're seeing my screen there, you can see if I'm going to the employee profile. I can see all the information. I can see employee contact information, benefits, payroll performance. All this information this employee is able to see. The reason why this employee is able to see, Jacqueline is able to see, is because she's an employee in Workday system. She's an engineer, all the modules of Workday system. That is the reason why she's able to see all the. She's able to access learning. She's able to access performance. She's able to access benefits, payroll, core HR, everything she's able to access. But that has come into extended enterprise learning. Learner who is not involved in Workday will not be able to see anything of this because that person is not an employee. You know that person is not in the system. That is the reason why that person will not be able to access any information, even job information, summary, anything that employee will not be able to see. At least this kind of view also that person will not have because that person is not an employee in the system. That person will be a kind of extended enterprise learner who will just have access to take courses and complete the courses. Other than that, that employee will not have anything. They cannot do anything in the system. They can only take learning things. This is a kind of model in a Workday suggests or recommends to customers when they have a kind of similar kind of requirements to work with the external enterprise learning module and make them utilize their international workers to get into Workday and take Workday learning. We call employees as external enterprise learners. And in Workday, we typically call this employee is there. This employee has a team. She will be reporting to manager. Reporting to one manager. If I go to her manager's profile, go back to summary. She does not have manager. Generally, she should have personal professional talent. You should be seeing. I will take one employee, for example. I went to this employee. I went to the employee profile and this employee's manager is Jacqueline. And this employee's manager is Jacqueline. He should be reporting to Jacqueline and Jacqueline will be managing this employee. If I go to our chat, you should be seeing the same. This is generally a kind of our chart. We'll generally see. This is a training tenant. You might be not seeing something accurate. But in general scenario, this will be the scenario. You can see many managers are there. This one you can see Stephen Peters, who is managing HR service department, is managing all these people. He is managing all these people. Similarly, in the extended enterprise learning model, they may be creating extended enterprise affiliations. Extend enterprise affiliations. What are the affiliations are? Let's say the same scenario that I said one of the customers is Live News, but internationally they are not Live. They have their operations in Canada, India, Australia, Singapore, and Thailand, and all other countries. When they plan to have extended enterprise implemented across international locations, for each country, there will be a kind of extended enterprise application. Let's say Canada. We have Canada affiliation. We can take this as a kind of summary. Probably for any customer that you're getting interviewed. This information, no one will be aware because this model is very rare. Understanding this model and people having this knowledge will be very rare. You having this knowledge, when someone asked you, have you worked on an external enterprise model? You can say, I know all the concepts of external enterprise learning module because I got trained in that model. I know everything you can say. This is Canada affiliation and India affiliation. And as you can see, Australia affiliation. What is this affiliation? Is Canada affiliation. We have all Canada members. From this affiliation, we'll be having all the Canada members, similarly all India and similarly all Australians. Each affiliation will have their own team members. When you own team members, team members, and this is employees section. All the employees in Canada, let's say Canada in Canada, we have office in Toronto. All the employees in Toronto will be part of Canada affiliation. And India, we have offices in Delhi, Mumbai, kind of things. All the India employees will be from different locations, will be part of India affiliation, and similarly Australia. For each country, will have different affiliations and will be allocating courses based on these affiliations for India employees. They should be a kind of compliance courses related to India. Regulatory kind of things will be assigning specific courses to India employees. India affiliation. Similarly for Canada, similarly for Australia, for every country can have a different kind of course assignments where they can go and complete that. Amit, I have a question here. These extended employee, enterprise employees taking a course, completing a course, will that completion will be tracked in any way? Do we include their completion in reports? For extended employees, you are asking for a second or no? Extended employee. They are taking course and completing courses. They are taking courses and all they have learned. Also, we can be tracked. What they are in progress, similarly as how you can see. This is seeing what the screen we go to. Jacqueline's profile. To go to Jacqueline's profile, she is able to see all the learnings here. All the learnings here she is able to do. You can see the same information in external enterprise learning screen also. The same information, only learning. If you cannot see all these things, you cannot see achievements. All the things you will not see, you only see learning in external enterprise learner profile. Because they're only learners, they cannot access anything. They can only see learning in learning space. They will only have learning and they can see only learning related completions, and all learning administration can see all the in progress, completed and not started schedules, and accordingly they can take required action. The other way is we can create reports that pulls up all the information, what they have completed, what they have not completed, we can report. In that way, Learning Administrator can track the completions of external enterprise learning section. We can also create separate dashboards that gives all the external enterprise learner completions. You go to Learning Administrator page. You go to External Learning page. Not External Learning Administrator page. This Learning Administrator page. Learning Administrator page. You should be finding if this student does not have an external learning module, but in case if this student has external learning module, you're seeing few management campaigns date. Similarly, you should be seeing another column with extended enterprise learning, and you can see view learners, view affiliations, view external learner completions. You should be finding another column like this. You should be finding when you view learners, you'll be able to find all the extended enterprise learners, view affiliations. I've shown you Canada affiliation India. How many affiliations are there? You should be able to see that many affiliations. When you click on each affiliation, you should be finding that country employees section. When I say completed employees, those are nothing but external enterprise learners. In that way, Learning Administrator can access everything from the dashboard. They should be able to access employees as well as external learners, information, their completions, all the data they should be able to access. That is nothing but external interface learning module. Everything will be similar. Employee, external device learner can take courses and learning administrator can assign courses. Everything will be same as how you do in learning, but only the thing is the module is different. Module is different and for an employee. For an employee, should be having employee ID. You should be having employee ID. You can see here this employee is there. But for external enterprise learners, you will not have an employee ID because that person is not an employee in the system. No, she'll not find employee. That person will have extended enterprise. Learner ID, they'll have learner ID. That is what external enterprise learning module talks about. This kind of module requirements will not see mostly for all the customers, very rarely for limited customers. You can see where they have operations in all international countries, but they are only live with Workday, only in specific country, and they are not live with other international countries. They might have this kind of needs, even though they does not. Most of the customers will not be aware, but probably since now we are aware of this. When you're attending any kind of interviews for learning things, when you see similar kind of cases, you can propose this solution. Instead of investing your money on multiple learning systems, we have a provision going for extended enterprise learning module for international, where they can use Workday Learning as external enterprise learning system, and employees who are part of Workday, they can still be learners in Workday, that we can have common learning system where we can track their completions. If you're going with multiple learning systems, they can have blended courses also. I mean anything, classroom course, whatever we have in Workday, blended courses, digital courses and anything program, anything you can do. If it is a kind of for only international employees, if you can create a blended course, let's say India, you have for India, there is in-person session that you wanted to plan on and date. You'll be creating a blended course for that one, and you'll be sending a kind of announcement in India and New Delhi. We have a course is going on. Interested candidates can enroll. People will be enrolling, and during that particular day will be instructor. Will be having in-person session with it. But it's when learning that student is on visit of multiple locations, they can create blended courses, and in their visit they can have all the participants for that particular location. In-person session. That is also something in my previous organization. They used to do this only any from us. If people are coming for India visit, they used to visit our office and they used to plan a kind of blended course session and make us be part of the system. We have the requirement in my current LMS, but we don't have action to contact you. We don't even have option to create a blended course. Not blended course. Extended enterprise learning or extended enterprise. Probably Workday has this as a kind of option. I know that you can utilize. You can propose to your organization. We have Workday, which can be a kind of common learning system for both international and domestic employees. That would be only few terms. Extra enterprise, learner is nothing, but who is a learner? Affiliation is nothing, but a kind of organization which hold that, look at that country, employees you can think of. And then will be as I told. Now you have an affiliation for each country. Have an affiliation. Each country. For each affiliation, you can have an affiliation manager. Affiliation manager you can have, or for all the affiliations, you can have one affiliation manager, or for each individual affiliation, you can have affiliation manager who will be typically called as a learning administrator. In both the learning, we call them as a learning administrator. In external enterprise learning model, we call them as an affiliation manager. Affiliation manager, who will be taking care of course assignments, managing learning stuff, all the things they will be taking care of. That is all about external enterprise learning model. We have to request the Workday consultant saying we have the request for this country and these are the list of users we want to add it into. What extended enterprise module? You need to reach out to Workday saying that we have India, all India, Thailand and Malaysia as a kind of our locations. But we are live in Asia. We wanted to have all these three countries should be part of Workday Learning through external enterprise learning model that we can assign courses from a single system and track their progress in a single system rather than multiple systems. We can track everything single system. That you need to please request and Workday implementation team who will be implementing Workday for your organization. They can take care of implementing or if it is already implemented. Workday can. This is not a huge project. This is just, making external enterprise learning model enable in your tenant and have some kind of configurations made. It's not a huge one. Probably very less. Of course, it will take. You can have someone from Workday to take care of this instead of having implement part or to implement this. They can have some specific Workday consultant to do this. That's about external enterprise learning module. Do you have any questions on this? It's very. I understand what is extended enterprise learning module. Affiliation. Affiliation is nothing. But who manages that particular affiliation? Employees. Extended enterprise affiliations are nothing. But if you're having, I told you, Canada, India, you can take that as an example. And extended enterprise learning. There is a different security when you implement extended enterprise learning module. You will be providing access to learners on external enterprise learning model that they can access learning system. That's a kind of different access. You need to grant that they can access because they're not employees in the system. They need to only have access to extended enterprise learning module. There will be different security groups for that. You will be providing access to those security groups for international employees that they can be. They can become external enterprise learners. This is a small concept but will make a good benefit for the customers for managing domestic and international countries with Workday. That is on extended running module which should be clear for you. And outside of this, what else we can discuss today is we can see something called code expiration and expiration duration kind of things. When you mark learning courses as a expiration rate. We can do the learnings. You have this as a kind of a still course. And we'll create a course to the course if you wanted to set any kind of experimentation date. Learning record is nothing but a kind of course. After getting this task, the recent expiration date on learning records, you go to this one. I will click this page. If you see that propose expiration date for a learning record. Currently for this thing, Jacqueline has got enrolled. Jacqueline entered in this course, but we are making expiration sometime 30th from this. We are able to complete the set of our learning, completed expiration and click on this course. Proposed expiration date is showing us 30th. If you can see her enrollment she has completed, she has enrolled on 4/11/22, that is yesterday, and her expiration of date for this enrollment is 30. She has enrolled on 11, but her expiration date would be on 30th. The completion status. What we are seeing on the screen is enrollment completion, not course completion. Enrollment, not course completion. Just employee has enrolled into the course. Enrollment into the course, but enrollment whatever the expiration date that you're making. The learning enrollment expiration you're making is 30th. After 30th, you cannot enroll into this course. That particular course, you are setting a kind of expiration date. Till 30th employee can enroll. After 30th cannot be enrolled. I thought the course will get expired. This is the nomination or enrollment. This is only for enrollment. Expiration on learning records is nothing but which will let learners to enroll within that expiration date, and after that it will not enroll. You can also set expiration date at course level also if you go to the course. Where is learning admin? Learning actions. Where is learning admin? Are they able to find learning admin? I need to be as a learning admin. You can see here are the expiration rules are there now. This is for completing the course. Configure when your learners can retain. Please set up the time period when you retain a window. That you can start your expiration rule for this course when you wanted to have this course to be expired. You can set your expiration. You can configure that. And also you can also define some rules. Advanced learning expiration rule for workers. I'm taking string 1. You can make this rule. You can go to the rule. You can group instances here. When I say group, you can when employee is equal to manager or when employee is equal to director. This will apply. For all directors, if you want to set this to be expired, you can create a rule. For all managers, if you wanted to have this to be expired, you can create that rule. Let's say this is assumed this is a manager. And for this group, if you wanted to expire it on 1st May, you can do that. For a different group of people, you can set expiry rules that those employees will not be able to access this course after the particular date. You have an option to define expiration rules for a different set of employees. This is one of the unique features. You might not see this kind of feature in any learning system. That's how we know you can set expiration date for the learning courses, either for group of employees or set of employees. Yes, at course level you can do a course level how you can do. You can access a task called expiration on learning record. We have to select that learning content. You need to select your learning content for which course that you want to set, that you need to set up that, and on the course level you can set the expiration date. That's on expiration date. You can see the edit course. Edit course. I'm just trying to show you from the web the next course that you have. Let's see the graphics. Have you seen this? When you're creating a course, you specify what is the capacity of the waitlist. When we enroll, maximum enrollment capacity is 10. After 10, the waitlist capacity is 5. For this will be, if someone drops the enrollment, automatically the person will go and fill the enrollment. When the next course starts, when the next enrollment starts, these people will be, whoever are under waitlist will automatically get enrolled first. And then, since the maximum capacity is 10, after filling the 10, the other people will be under waitlist. That's about the waitlist. This should be clear for you now. But whenever we create a course and whenever we try to enroll, this will be the kind of criteria for us under maximum capacity and maximum waitlist capacity kind of thing. You can also, if you don't want to go with 5 and if you wanted to have unlimited capacity, you can keep that as well. But if you have any kind of specific number that you wanted to specify, you can give. Minimum enrollment capacity is 10. Maximum would be 15. And waiting list would be around 5. Accordingly, you're working in this. The example from the past, I think. Since this is a blended course, there has to be, or we will not change anything. It has to be a kind of a restricted test. Someone got terminated from here. Probably we can remove these inactive folks. That you can be able to submit them. That's the capacity, the waitlist capacity, which you're interested to look into. That is one of the things that we can go edit the course if we want. We can go by course. I'll go for course offering also. Course offering. Whatever we need is for software. This. There are different schedules for the same course offering. You can see the waitlist capacity from course offering. From course offering and from blended course, you can go for course. Whenever you are in the blended course, you can be seeing the offering. Whenever you read, the course offering generally blended course will have multiple schedules. You can schedule training in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Whenever you have multiple schedules, you can schedule. Each session is nothing but a kind of different kind of scheduled session. For each session, we can define a kind of waitlist capacity and enrollment capacity. Because that is an in-person training. We can have in-person training as well as availability of candidates, as well as availability of instructors. We can have multiple schedules. That's about this one. The other one that I wanted to go into today is something on the price. Something on the pricing part. We have a delivered configuration called learning payment configuration we have. Well, we can see the payment part. There is nothing but what credit that will be costing for each payment kind of thing. Learning payment. First, we need to do some kind of plan level setups. This is a tenant level setup. We don't have access to that. We can't set up the same. We don't have access. If you need tenant setup, you don't have access. In this tenant access platform, remote access. That also, we won't have maintained tenant credit. Maintain tenant credit. I'm checking whether we have access to grant the security or not. Don't do it. Is something at security level will be granted. This I think the security is not granted. There is a reason why we are not able to see. Grant the security. I don't know if we should do. I don't know if I should. I think the security is. No one has used this one far. It's suspended, not anymore. I think no one has used this far. Once we enable the security, we need to activate the security. Probably all this will not be doing because it will not be getting access also. You don't have to worry about what is this. This is the end of the talk. But if you are interested to learn other areas of Workday, probably, then this should be helpful for you. We should be getting that. Thank you. Thank Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Did we see that when we created a course, adding cost to the course? When we created a course, do you see that page? You can see you can add pricing for learning course here. You can see how much kind of external, kind of invoicing that you can make on the course. How much cost or the price that is associated with the learning. And to create this one, this is not a learning, this is not a kind of Workday learning task. There is something financial people finance team will be creating this one. Once they create, they'll be adding the price here for each of the course. And this price will be attaching to the course. Basically, this will be created by this sales item, which is nothing but associated with finance team. Finance team will be creating that. And as a kind of Workday configuration team or Workday administrator, when you're creating a course, you'll pick that course, you'll pick that course that has been created and attach that to the course. That will be a kind of cost associated course or pricing. And whenever employee enrolls into that course, that will be chargeable. That will be chargeable, an employee will be charged, and a PO purchase order will be generated to organization that your employee has taken this training. And this is a purchase order for the training we'll be getting for an organization. And that way you can add pricing in your current technology. Do you have any kind of courses for which you can add a cost in your current learning system? We don't have. But if we have external trainer, we can add the cost for that external trainer per day. Where do you not? Where do you add the cost for hour when we're creating blended courses? In my platform, we call it as a classroom. Classroom. Before the setting of our classroom, we have to predefine some classroom setting like training room trainers, competency levels. When we adding external trainer, we have to add the price for the external trainer. Per hour, how much the cost? But we don't have. If we have any course, we can add the commercial for a program. Course that is not available. Probably an hour in Workday, not just blended course, but we can do for digital course, also for science. For a digital course also. Anything that is recorded. Let's say Workday integrations training. A kind of digital course is nothing but a kind of virtual course. Even instructor can be in another way, in another location, and candidate can attend it through Zoom. That is nothing but comes under digital. You know that course is costing somewhere around. They don't have any dollar amount. They can create course with cost and let employees know that this is cost associated courses. You cannot directly enroll. There needs to be a kind of approval by your manager. Once your manager approves, this will go for enrollment. We can configure. Yesterday, it was for the weekend batch. I was giving a kind of business process session for them. I took an example for learning for them. What the case was, when employee tries to enroll into the learning course, there are 3 scenarios. One should auto-enroll the candidate into the course. The other one should go for approval, and the other one, the third case, is not all the approval should go for manager. Only when employee enrolls into cost associated courses, it should go for manager approval. Such kind of activity performed, and I've shown to the candidate. Because they are learning their business process, their functional areas, They need to know about business, process, configurations, and all. We were discussing about the use case for learning. We can add a course to the course and ask them to enroll into the course and see whether approval will go to manager or not. In that way, we were testing the business process. You want to see that? Though it is not the kind of learning admin task, but I think that should help for you to understand how it goes. Basically, we have a business process called enrolling content. We have a business process. Enrolling content is a business process that allows employees to enroll into the course. How this comes is when we create a digital course or blended course. This checkbox we have checked here requires enrollment. When we check this checkbox, enrollment comes into the picture. When we won't check this checkbox, there is no enrollment required for this course. Without enrollment, the employee can go and take the course because there is no enrollment. When you uncheck this checkbox, no enrollment is required. But when you check this checkbox, this will come into the picture. This business process will come into the picture and allows employee to enroll in the course. Once employee enrolls in the course, employee can take their course and complete the training. Now, what we have done yesterday is, this is also a copy of our business process, which is working in this tenant. What we have done yesterday is we added an approval step to this one. We added an approval step. When employee tries to enroll in the discourse, it can show you practically. I can go to the learning course list and find out the course to enroll. Let's see to manage learning content. Let's say if I'm trying to enroll in this one. And here, since you see, the business process is configured for an approval step. Ideally, when I try to enroll in the course, it should go for an approval action. It should go for manager approval. I think this course does not have enrollment option, meaning that the checkbox which I told you, that was unchecked for this one. Business course. If I try to enroll this one, this will go for an approval action. We submit this one. You can see this has gone for an approval. Because in the enrollment business process, we added approval for manager. Now we're going to add some condition to this one. Seeing that not all the enrollment should go for manager approval, only when cost is there for the course should go for approval. We added a condition here. Only when cost is associated should go for manager approval. Now I'll try to enroll and it into the course that has cost and see how good it looks. Now, since we've added a condition for normal courses, which does not have cost, should not go for an approval. But for the courses that has cost should go for an approval. We'll test both the scenario that you get clarity on how it works. And this will be one of the requirements for you. Is that a requirement from business? You will be part of business team. This would be a requirement from your side. This has passed around $150. When I write it, this is already enrolled. What I will draw this enrollment. I'll draw this enrollment. Draw enrollment. What is the course Workday? New condition. They're not doing invalidation in the enrollment list option. It should have got a draw. For some reason this tenet is not lit. It's not what I'm learning. Sometimes it behaves rather. If you see this one now, we have $200, which has cost. As per the conclusion that we made, the moment I click on enroll, they should go for an hour. Because an employee, when tries to enroll into the course that is associated with cost, should go for an approval. First, I'll show you that is cost associated. Then I'll show you the one that is not cost associated, which should not go for an approval. I'll enroll into this one. You can see this has gone for manager to approve. Because we have written a condition that is there for the course. It should go for manager. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same kind of testing for the course that is not associated with cost. That is not having any cost. Ideally, that should not go for an approval. Selecting any course that is not having any cost. This one does not have any cost. If I try to enroll the candidate into this course, since it does not have, it should not go for any approval. Looking on this, see directly it has got submitted. There is no approval. That has gone for manager because cost is not there. There is no cost out. Such kind of requirements, specifically your team will be having. Learning team will have this kind of request. Whenever there is a cost, let it go for manager approval. Once manager approves, let candidate take the course. That would be your requirement. Or for the courses that there is no cost, should not go for any approval. Should be a requirement and Workday team will be considering as per your requirement. When you are moving to any Workday customer and when you are getting interviewed, if people ask you what was your kind of requirement, that you need to coordinate with Workday development team to configure and get the things done, you can take this as an example. We had a kind of requirement for our courses as employee. When tries to enroll into the course that is having cost, should go for an approval for a manager. When it does not have a cost, it should not get any approval. Only cost associated courses should go for an approval. Any amount, even if it is costing $10, even if it is costing 15 or 200 or 200, any amount of that cost that should go for. Manager approval is what we required and our development team has done the same as per the requirement that we had. You can convey in this way. With that, I think we should be good with adding cost to the courses also. Almost, we have covered everything. Almost every item that we have covered only certain areas where it requires complete security setup, where it requires some kind of technical DP configuration. Those things we have not covered because you don't need those security kind of things. You will not be getting access also to perform all those things. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.